Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to start the speeches. So I'd like to introduce Josh's father. Hey, Phil.
Thank you so much for coming. I've been tormenting poor Jess for about 18 months. So I'm going to be looking at you a lot, Jess, just to see are we good or are we not. But Jess is, I'd like to welcome Jess to the family, but I really don't need to do that. Jess has been part of the family for a long time. In fact, she was so much part of the family that she decided to drive up to the driveway, and instead of parking on one side, she would park right in the middle. So I thought, well, okay, hard to say anything. It's an 8-car driveway, but she took up 4 spots.
Not a good driver.
Not a good driver. And then sometimes they say if two people hang out a lot together, they end up looking a lot together, and they do a lot of the same things together. So Josh didn't want to be outdone because Jess parked in the middle of the driveway. Josh waited till I went out and bought a brand new sports car and then backed over top of it right in the middle of the driveway. So that was only $5,000, so but so Josh, like a good brother, wanted to hand that torch down to his brother. And it wouldn't be a party if the cops didn't show up. So young Christopher here, the ordained minister, that did a great job. Everyone did. So my young son decided he had forgotten something and had to go home. And then he decided, no, he didn't. And he turned around, and somehow there was a little car that he kind of climbed Josh's truck over top of. And he calls me and he says, Dad, it's 20 minutes away and I got to make the speech. And the car is all smashed. So I'll let Chris talk a little bit more about that. So last week, and it was so cute, Jess, I asked the question. And the question is always one that, I don't know why this thing's going on. So the question is always one about the last name. Are you going to take the last name or keep your maiden name? And she was quite cool with taking Katibas. And she said, Jessica Katibas, Jessica Katibas. And prior to that, I asked Josh, are you going to take Jess's last name? No, I'm not doing that. So there's always a lot of good characteristics in all of us, but Jess has something that no one else on the planet has. She's a very beautiful, thin girl, and I always thought she was thin because good eating habits, good genes, but it wasn't that at all. It was expiry dates. So she would always come into the house because she was well, and she would open the fridge. And I thought, this is beautiful. Just eat whatever you want. She took everything and said, that's no good. That's no good. And I said, there's no mold on that. And then I noticed that she went to the back of Josh's neck to see what his expiry date was. And she noticed that he's got low mileage, only one owner. But high maintenance, though. So, as everyone knows, I have 3 children, and I love them all dearly. My wild child that won't stay near Ontario lives in Vancouver. She doesn't. She lives She lives in Vancouver Island, and never confuse those two. And then I got young Chris there, who doesn't know if he's coming or going. Australia, Pickering, Australia, Pickering. But I have Josh. He's my home buddy. So Josh did venture away from home. He ended up in the Schwa. That's far and a little dirty. But when Josh was a little boy, I always said if I was a kangaroo, he would be in my pouch. So although he looks pretty rugged and tough, and he's always snarling at you, he's really he's really a nice guy. So the other thing when Josh was growing up is he had a pillow, and the pillow was his security blanket. So he called his pillow a puppety because he couldn't speak. He goes, my puppety, and he dragged this thing along like Linus from Charlie Brown, and we could not get rid of this puppety. So he's got a new puppety, and her name is Jess. So I made a conscious effort to not get involved in the wedding and not ask any questions. And I just wanted to get invited and have about 20 minutes to talk. And I asked Jess, why did you pick this place? And she said, there's no elevators. And Josh has a phobia. Has anyone ever ridden with in an elevator? Nate, any of the boys down there? No? I don't know about the elevators. But I will tell you, about 2 weeks ago, I did get a little bit of disturbing news, and this is serious for half a second.
I'm sure.
I found out that my son was in a gang. He was actually the leader of the gang. So he tells me, and I said to him, well, okay, what's the gang called? And he says, MSG. MSG. And I go, MSG? I said, what do you guys do? Go to Chinese restaurants and say, no MSG for you, no MSG for you. So, who is part of this gang, Josh? Anyone from the MSG gang, please stand up.
All right.
There we go, the MSG gang. Oh my God. I cannot believe that. So, Josh is such a movie buff. Oh my God. Dad, have you watched anything? Josh, you've watched everything on the planet. So he kept asking me to watch The Walking Dead, and I thought, who wants to watch that? A bunch of guys, dead guys, just stabbing them. So I started watching it, and I couldn't stop watching it. And by the end of it, I realized one thing. Josh is my Daryl. You know, he really is. He's tough on the exterior, but very loyal and very loving. And if I did go to war, I would bring Daryl with me. So some parting wisdoms. 2 secrets to a long-lasting marriage is good sense of humor and a short memory. Actually, that ceremony, I almost had the urge to get married again. Almost. But it was an amazing ceremony, and I must say, probably the best ceremony that I've ever been to. Very natural. I loved it. So great job, and great job. So if everyone can raise your glass for a toast. May you live each day like your last, and each night like your first. Thank you.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'd like to call up Jessica's mother, Linda.